All right, let's get into it. You've almost certainly heard of Acorns, right? The app that invests your spare change. But what you might not know is that behind that really simple idea is an absolutely brilliant business strategy that has completely changed how millions of people think about their money. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how they did it. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with this one simple question. What if building wealth wasn't this big, scary, complicated thing? What if it could just happen, automatically in the background of your life? That's the core promise that got this whole thing off the ground. So let's begin where they began, with that first big idea, the one that got millions of people to sign up. The simple, powerful concept of just investing your spare change. I mean, think about what it was like before apps like this. For most people, investing felt like this exclusive club. You thought you needed a ton of money to even start. You had to understand all this crazy jargon. It was a huge wall that kept everyday people out. And Acorn's solution to that wall was just genius in its simplicity. They called it the Roundup. You go buy a coffee for, say, $2.75. The app sees that, and it automatically invests the extra 25 cents for you. It's so clever because it just vaporizes the two biggest hurdles. You don't have to decide to invest, and you don't feel like you need a bunch of money to get started. It just happens. But here's the thing. That super simple Roundup feature, that was just the beginning. It was the hook. The real strategy, the core of their entire business model, is how they use that hook to build something way, way bigger. And that brings us to what's known as the wedge to sweet strategy. In the tech world, this is a classic move. It's called a wedge. It's that one single, irresistible, super easy to understand feature that solves one specific problem and gets you in the door. For Acorns, the Roundup was the perfect wedge. Nobody else was doing it, it took zero effort, and you could see the value almost immediately. And just look at this timeline. The really smart part here is the patience. They didn't launch and try to be everything to everyone right away. Nope. They launched that one wedge in 2014, and for years they just focused on building a huge, loyal user base. Only after that did they start to expand. First into retirement accounts, and then later by buying other companies into a full-blown platform for banking and family finance. This quote just nails it. It perfectly describes their playbook. This is the wedge to sweet strategy in action. You hook them with one simple, addictive product, the wedge, and then once they trust you, you build out a full suite of services around them. It's a win for the customer, who gets more value, and obviously a huge win for the company. Okay, so you're probably wondering, if they're not charging the old school investment fees, how in the world does this business actually make any money? Well, this is another spot where they just flipped the traditional model completely on its head. Instead of taking a percentage of your money, which, by the way, means the more you have, the more you pay, they went with a simple, flat monthly subscription fee. It's easy to understand, it's totally transparent, and it just fits their whole brand of making finance simple. And this reframing is so important. They're not just selling you an investment tool. They are selling you a financial wellness membership. See the difference? That changes the whole relationship. Suddenly, you're not a client getting hit with fees, you're a member paying for an all-in-one service that handles your investing, your saving, your banking, the whole shebang. Now, the subscription is the main thing for sure, but it's not the only way they make money. They have a rewards program with partners. They also get these tiny little interchange fees. That's the small fee a store pays whenever you swipe your Acorns debit card. And they also make money from the funds their customers are invested in. So they've built this whole ecosystem with multiple streams of revenue. So all this sounds great on paper, but did the wedge to sweet strategy actually work out for them? Well, let's take a look at the numbers because they are pretty wild. The scale here is just staggering. Since they started, Acorns has served over 15.5 million people. That is a huge number of people, many of whom had probably never invested a dime before in their lives. That's a fundamental shift in the market. And all those little 25-cent, 50-cent roundups, yeah, they add up. Together, Acorns users have invested over $27 billion through the platform. It just goes to show you the incredible power of small, consistent habits over time. And as of today, the company is managing over $8.2 billion in what's called assets under management. That's the total value of everything they're investing for their customers. To go from spare change to a multi-billion-dollar operation, well, that's quite a ride. So when you put all these pieces together, you've got the simple wedge, the slow expansion into a full suite, and the incredible scale. What if they really built? Well, you could call it a complete financial wellness machine. The company's name is actually the best metaphor for their entire strategy. They started with this tiny little acorn of an idea, investing spare change, and they patiently watered it and let it grow into this mighty oak tree of a financial ecosystem. And this is what that mighty oak looks like today. It's so much more than just roundups. Now it's your retirement, your bank account, your rewards program, investment accounts for your kids. It is a complete machine designed to run almost every part of your financial life, all under one subscription. So, what Acorns has built really leaves us with this huge question about where things are headed. They proved you can bundle a person's entire financial world into one app with one monthly fee. The convenience is, well, it's undeniable. But is this the future we want? What does it mean when one company has that much control and that much insight into our financial lives? That right there is the billion-dollar question the rest of the industry is desperately trying to answer.